The Zero didn't lose at Midway because it was outclassed. It lost because it was too successful. During the battle, wave after wave of American torpedo bombers attacked the Japanese fleet. Elite pilots like Tadashi Kaneko were relentless. They shredded the American devastators, shooting down nearly every single one. But this victory was actually a deadly trap. The Zeros had to dive to sea level to kill the torpedo planes. They burned through their fuel and exhausted their 20mm cannon ammunition in the slaughter. At that exact moment, American SBD Dauntless dive bombers appeared at 19,000 feet. The Zeros were stuck below, out of fuel, out of ammo, and out of position. The carriers were defenseless. Because the Zeros were too busy winning the battle at sea level, they lost the war in the clouds. A tragic victory that led to total defeat. The primary reasons for the loss of the Zero fighters and the defeat of the Japanese force include 1. Loss of the carriers, the no landing field factor. The most significant reason for the loss of the Zeros was not in dogfights, but because they had nowhere to land. US dive bombers destroyed 3 of the 4 Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Tsuryu, in a 5-minute span while their Zeros were engaged elsewhere or refueling, and the 4th, Hiryu, was sunk later that day. Irreplaceable loss. With their flight decks destroyed, the Zeros were forced to ditch in the ocean when they ran out of fuel. Overextension of the Combat Air Patrol, CAP. The Japanese Zero fighters were drawn down to low altitudes to intercept attacking US torpedo bombers, leaving the fleet unprotected from high-altitude dive bomber attacks. Distraction. While the Zeros were busy destroying slow, low-level American torpedo planes, such as VT-8, they were out of position to stop the SBD Dauntless dive bombers that arrived at high altitude. Exhaustion. The Japanese pilots were exhausted, having been flying for hours, and were forced to attack repeatedly, draining their ammunition and fuel. Poor operational planning and strategy. Lack of surprise. American forces had broken the Japanese naval code, allowing them to ambush the Japanese fleet, eliminating the advantage of surprise. Divided forces. The Japanese forces were spread out, including a diversionary attack on the Aleutians, meaning not all available air power was concentrated to defend the main carrier fleet. Complacency. Victory diseased Japanese leadership believed the US would not fight back strongly, leading to a rigid plan that did not allow for contingencies, such as the early discovery of the American carriers. Ineffective scouting and intelligence. Late reconnaissance. Japanese scout planes were delayed or unable to locate the American carriers, allowing the US to strike first. No radar. Unlike the American carriers, Japanese ships lacked radar, leaving them dependent on visual spotting to direct their Zeros, which was ineffective in the cloudy, chaotic conditions. Weapon system mismanagement. The rearming chaos. Rearming vulnerability. Admiral Nagumo ordered his planes to change weapons from torpedoes to bombs, to hit the island, and back to torpedoes, to hit the ships, creating a chaotic deck packed with bombs, fuel hoses, and planes, making them highly vulnerable to fire when hit. Superior American tactics. Timing. US pilots, despite heavy casualties, managed to coordinate their attacks, often by luck, to hit the Japanese carriers at the exact moment the Zeros were low on fuel or ammunition. Persistence. Despite being technologically inferior in some aspects, American pilots were aggressive and persistent in attacking, disrupting the Japanese air defense, the CAP. In summary, the Zeros were lost because the carriers they relied on for fuel and landing were destroyed due to a combination of broken codes, poor planning, and the tactical blunder of leaving their ships undefended by chasing low-level threats.